up, y'all? It is me, Tasha C, and welcome to the Tashacshow podcast. Shout out to my YouTube and podcast fam, and be a part of my YouTube fam. Or you're starting like what you hear and or see. Go ahead and look down in the podcast. You also including if you think more about the podcast. Go ahead and look at the description. And besides Speaker and other platforms where I have my podcast, you can follow me on there. And this also goes to my podcast fam. If you are wondering about this YouTube channel, or you're like also, or you're about to become part of my podcast fam, go to YouTube and put in tashactv. Don't forget the TV part, y'all. I'm not going to come up. But anyway, y'all, hugs and loves. I thank you for all the ongoing support and the support I will have in the near future and futures. Same thing. But anyway, y'all, just to let y'all know again, this is a bonus podcast, meaning I wouldn't do so many. And this is also a bonus podcast, let me add, because originally I didn't plan on doing this. But I decided to, and I'm just going to, continue to do this until I feel like it, till the wheels roll off, and so forth. But this is a part of my 366-day video journey. Excuse me, y'all. Journey. And I just wanted to go ahead, and add this for a while before I go back to my regular, podcast and so forth. So anyway, y'all, excuse the yawn, but it's 5:28 a.m. in the morning. This is going to be our Kings and Queens Next Door Volume 30. Even though this is March the 1st, 2020, so we're a whole nother month. And this is no more technically Black History Month, but it's Black History 365 days. So, sorry y'all, I couldn't go to sleep, so I figured I will go ahead and do my podcast pre-recorded like I used to, y'all. If y'all know about my other podcast, if I'm planning on doing, I usually try to do it like late at night, early in the morning, and then that way I already have done instead of like, later on towards the day or whatever. So like I said, if it's your first time listening, like I said, I just started this on my birthday last year, and on October 8th, and put on it last year as far as it being bonus podcast. Because like I said, being anything from a video, it just helped me be consistent with putting out input. So, anyways, y'all, excuse me. Ooh, Lord. Okay, I'm pausing because I know I had now I just was looking at it, and sometimes people, when you're looking for something and you have it all set up, and okay, I was prepared and ready, I'm sitting here looking for what I was looking at earlier, and I do not know why I do not see what I was looking for. Because if y'all were listening to yesterday, I had found what I was doing in Mahalia Jackson's, and I was looking at it kind of ended where it started talking about her life. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and find another site for her, because I wanted to go more into information. I didn't want to cut off because it was just talking about 5 years old, when she was 5 years old. So, oh yeah, I found it, y'all. When I was 5 years old, when she was 5 years old, not me. But, so I went to a site, and I found another site, y'all, called blackpass.org. And I just put Mahalia Jackson. I also have Google Black Facts Online or Black Histories Online, and it gave me this site, so I decided to do that. It's like a Wikipedia. So it has information, so I'm going to read a couple from here. And just to let y'all know, warning, it's your first time hearing, I do mispronounce some words, so work with me here. So, because they have where you can have African American section as well, history, and global African history. Because this site is kind of dope. Okay. So this was contributed on February the 23rd, 2020 by Eula Nielsen. And the person's name is BREFFU. I'm going to say Beru, I guess. It's a question mark when the person was born, but they passed away in the year 1734. And y'all, if y'all ever looked for history, like looking for your heritage and stuff, your ancestors and so forth. Even in America, what I noticed, I don't know if it has something to do with down south or just in certain places in general, but even just trying to find the right year that my grandfather, it's the death on there. I know I'm branded pregnant, y'all, but he was a black man. He was black. But the interesting part was, I don't know exactly what month he was born in. You know how sometimes it's hard to find a year, even say just a generation, beyond. But I know he came from Alabama, but they only have on a tombstone when he, he passed away in a date of month. I don't know what month my grandfather, was born, and month or date. I think not even a year. So it's kind of, y'all, if y'all notice, y'all look for your history, and it's it's sadly not common. It's not uncommon. Sometimes even just barely, I know that was in the 60s, but not too long ago, where some people may not even have, the birth year and the year they passed away, both on, in information. But let me go ahead. Okay, birth year, an African woman who was from what is known as the nation of Ghana, was enslaved in Danish West Indies, is credited with leading one of the longest recorded slave revolts in North American history. Denmark began its involvement in the African slave trade in 1657. 15 years later, in 1672, after defeating the local Tano Indians, they began colonizing 3 West Indies islands, naming them St. Jan, now St. John, St. Thomas, and St. Cross, the Danish West Indies, now the U.S. Virgin Islands. These islands soon became the center of 3 cash crops: sugarcane, cotton, and coffee. Plantations were established, sugar mills were built, and enslaved people were brought from West Africa to provide labor for these enterprises. By the beginning of the 18th century, the Danish West India and Ghana Company focused its slave trading operations in and around the city of Accra in what is now Ghana. The Agmanu people of the Alcan region had defeated the Accra and enslaved the conquered tribal members before selling them to the Dutch. Eventually, the Amu were defeated Amu people after the death of their ruler, King Asa Saru, and by 1730, many Amu people, now enslaved, were sold to Danish traders and transported to the island of St. John in the Danish West Indies. Late in 1733, the retaliation for rough treatment and harsh conditions, enslaved people across the island of St. John, including many who fled their plantations and hid in the woods where they planned a revolt. They were organized by members of Algonquin royalty family who had also been enslaved and were residing on different plantations. Their leaders included Prince June, Prince Kanta, King Bombo, King Akwashi, and Princess Bearfu, who was enslaved on the plantation of Pier Quarter in Coral Bay, St. John. Early on November 23rd, 1733, slave insurrections begun on St. John Island. A local master, Jonas Sodman, was killed at his Coral Bay plantation. Soon after, enslaved people were admitted into Fort Frederiksværn to make their regular delivery of wood, and once inside, they killed the guards with knives previously hidden inside the deliver wood. At the sound of the cannon being fired at the fort, the precinct signal bearer burst into the main house of the Coral plantation and killed both Coral and his wife. Dang! Okay, Brewer and her followers took all the guns and ammunition on the Coors plantation and then attacked the neighboring Van Cell plantation where they killed 3 members of the family. With Baru as their leader, the Algonquin people took control of most of St. John's Island, destroying homes and burning crops. The insurrection lasted until early in April 1734 when the French military agreed to help the Danes regain control of the island. In late April, and 23 of her followers committed suicide in a ritual ceremony on Byron's Bay to avoid capture. By May, French soldiers had crushed the rebellion and Dutch plantations was returned to their properties. The last armed rebels were killed by August the same year, ending their 9-month slave rebellion. Baru is remembered as the Queen of St. John and is celebrated annually with a parade and reenactment of the insurrection. Wow. Ooh. Okay, just give me a second. I'm about to go to the African American history part and read one right there. But that's pretty good information. It's sad that, well, she said you weren't gonna take me alive, and okay. All right, George E. C. Wolfe, he was born in the year 1954. Okay, George Costello Wolfe is one of the most celebrated American playwrights and directors of theater and film. Known for his 5 Tony Awards, Wolfe was born in Frankfort, Kentucky on September 23, 1954. His mother, Anna Lindsay Wolfe, was a librarian and principal at the all-black Rosenwood Laboratory School in Frankfort, Kentucky. And his father, Costello, was a clerk for the Kentucky Department of Corrections. Growing up in Frankfort, he attended Frankfort High School where he joined the drama club and became a writer for the school's literary magazine. Enthusiastic about the theater as a teen, Wolfe spent his summers at theater workshops at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, where he began directing plays. In 1972, Wolfe enrolled in Kentucky State University, but after a year transferred to Pomona College in Claremont, California, where he received a Bachelor's of Arts in Theater in 1976. While at Pomona College, he directed Up for Grabs, which was chosen as Pacific Southern Regional's winner at the American College Theater Festival. In 1976, Wolfe met Bernard Jackson, who was 1 year funded, Wolfe's the first production Tribal Rights at the Inner City Culture Center in Los Angeles. Wolfe returned to school and in 1983 received a Master's of Fine Arts degree in Dramatic Writing Musicals from New York University. His plays Paradise 1985 and Colorism 1986 garnered Wolfe his first national attention. Color Museum won the Dramatics Guide's Elizabeth Holt Weiner Award in 1986, and in 1989, his play Spunk won the Obie Award. In 1990, Wolfe became the resident director and producer of the New York Festival. Soon afterwards, he suffered a kidney failure in 1991. William Wolfe, George's older brother, donated his kidney to the artist. Aww. Wolfe recovered, and in 1991, he was named artistic director and producer for the New York Shakespeare Festival. In 1992, he produced and directed Jelly's Last Jam, and in 1993, his Angels Americas won a Tony Award. I wonder, is that the same HBO? I know, y'all, excuse me, y'all, for going to a rant again. I know there was, I don't know, it could be just the same title, but I know it was a miniseries on HBO that came out like years ago called Angels in America as well. Is that based on it? Okay, but let me continue to keep reading. Wolfe presented the musical Bring the Noise, Bring the Funk, in 1996, which usually tapped into and explored the black history, followed by other Broadway hits, including The Temps in 1995, Elaine Strict at Liberty in 2002. Later that year, he directed Susan Laurie's part. He directed Susan Lauder, publisher, prize-winning play Top Dog, that's Underdog. In 2004, Wolfe made his film directly debut with HBO's Lackawanna Blues, which earned numerous awards, including the 2006 Directors Guild Award for Best Directorial Achievement. Wolfie also directed the film Nights in Rothang, which premiered in September 2008. I think Nakawada Blues, I could have sworn it had like Terrence Howard and stuff. Yeah, it was I think I remember seeing that movie. Wolfie, and I think Macy Gray, I can't think of that man's name that used to play Wire, that played. Okay. Wolfie's more recent Broadway productions included Free Man to Come 2010, A Normal Heart 2011, Play Guide 2013, and 2006 Shuffle Along, a remake of the first black musical on Broadway in 1921. In 2017, Wolfie, a member of the President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities, resigned to protest the comments of President Donald Trump following a neo-Nazi rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, where one person died. In 2008, Wolfie directed The Iceman Cometh, starring Denzel Washington, and in 2020, he directed Homecoming, a play he described as unapologetically black and gay. Wolf continues to craft his artistic visions into classic plays. Okay, well, how much time? Let's do like 2 little Instagrams post, and I'll be now because it's already 16 minutes going in. I usually like to have these a little bit shorter than my regular podcast, about 20 minutes or so. So, give me a second. It seems like every time I try to record a podcast, when I go to these bookmarks, it seems like it acts sluggish. Okay. Did you know? I mean, even though I've said this before, it's always nice to go back and read more information sometimes. Okay, this is from People of Culture, POC. That means I think for podcasts. Okay, it's another Did You Know? Known as the richest man in history, Musa versus Amari or Mansa Musa. He monopolized trade between the North and other parts of the continent. He controlled territories rich in both gold and copper. He went on a pilgrimage to the Mecca and brought back architects and scholars from whom built mosques and universities that made the city known as Timbuktu. On that pilgrimage, his entourage was about 60,000, and he stopped in Cairo. They spent they spent so much gold and gifted it so much that it impacted the economy of Cairo for a decade because of the market that was flooded with gold. His network compared to today's standards would have placed him at least 400 billion. Okay. All right. Now, this is just random. I don't know who the couple's names are, but congrats. This is from the official Celebrities XO. I think it's underscore, and it's saying, introducing my wife, the first black woman at Louisiana Tech to be named a dean, and on the last day of Black History. I've got this after I recorded my last podcast. So, okay. Let's see here. Okay. The next one. Oh, this was still on here. Okay. Now, here's my last post for Black Facts Online. If y'all know, like I said, they do give sometimes information, but you have to click on their site to find it. But I can't find it unless I gotta, like, search. Okay. Brazilian political activist Beatriz Nascimento was born on July 12, 1942 to Rubina Pernambuco Nascimento and Francisco Xavier de Navasisco in Aju, the capital of northeast Brazilian state of Starpe. She migrated with her family, including 10 brothers, to Rio de Janeiro in the 1950s. At the age of 28, she started college at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, FURJ, and graduated in 1971 after interning in the National Archives with historian Jose Rodriguez, I think it is. Okay. Now, Rosita worked as a history teacher in the state schools, connecting history with research. She was one of the founders of the Grupo de Cadel Andre Reclutas in 1974 in Universidade Federal Funes, UFF in Rio. The group shared with Black Brazilian University students race-related issues in education. Brillius appeared as a speaker at the Quanzas do Negro Black Fortnight, held at the University of Sao Paulo in 1977, a meeting of major black researchers. Upon completing her post-graduation courses at UFF, she was best known for a widely circulated movie, Ori, created in 1989. The film, narrated by Nas Cemento, presented her personal story as a way of addressing the black, and continue reading at Black Flags Online. So, let me look at the time here. Yeah, it's about time. Okay, y'all. And just, even though this is not really I try to, if I can, to end my post at a positive note. This is Healthy Hair Journey. Jerome Baptiste du Sable was the first man to bring the pimp game to America from the Himalayas. I'm sorry, y'all. I know that wasn't a real fact, but if y'all know the classic comedy series Martin, then you will understand who Jerome is, and Jerome is in the house. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to. I'm sorry. I won't be up there giving out false information, but they really had, a picture where Jerome looks like he's in the art painting and stuff. The character Martin. So okay, that tickled me, y'all. Okay. Anyway, excuse me, about to get off here and finally go to bed. Hugs and loves, everybody. God bless. It's a new month, new day, new week. So, let's get ready, y'all. Take care. See y'all in the next one.